9 Russian battleships. Even a tank fell. The next date will also drop, but first of all, welcome to our channel. Today our dates are 20/04/2025, and we are with you with the most up-to-date images of the Russia-Ukraine war. In the later minutes of the video, we will also touch on topics such as, will there be a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine? What did Putin say last? But first, let's watch how this Russian convoy is being patiently destroyed by a Ukrainian drone. Today, there were intense clashes again in the cities of Kursk and Donetsk. While Russian troops wanted to invade Ukraine, Ukraine wanted to defend its country with minimal losses with well-trained FPV drone operators. Of course, let's add that the Russians did not see this as an invasion. What do you think about this? You can write in the comments. Check out how a Russian armored vehicle was set ablaze by a drone. In fact, today Putin declared a 30-hour unilateral ceasefire due to the Orthodox Easter holiday. However, Zelensky claimed that Russia violated the ceasefire. As you can see in the images, the ceasefire does not seem to have been implemented very well. There are still attacks on Ukrainian cities with tanks, and Ukrainian forces are trying to remove them from their country with all their might. I want to make a little reminder. We make these videos for you, and it is very valuable for us if you subscribe and like for more. Let's continue. According to the statement made by the Russian Defense Ministry, the village of Novomihailovka in the Donetsk region was captured. The statements made by Ukraine indicate that they repelled Russian forces throughout the night in the Suhaya Balka and Bogatyr regions. Another development today is the prisoner swap. With the United Arab Emirates acting as mediator, a total of 246 soldiers from both sides were released. Donald Trump said that the peace talks between Russia and Ukraine have reached a very critical stage, but that if even one of the parties shows reluctance, his will to be a mediator will also be lost. While all this is happening in the political arena, let's take a more detailed look at what is happening on the ground. We watch how a soldier is left alone with only a tree in an open field and then gets hunted by a Ukrainian FPV drone. No matter how hard the soldier tried to escape, it was no use, and he eventually closed his eyes to life. Another forest, different people, same event. Hearing the explosion and learning that he has lost his friend, the man makes the mistake of his life. He leaves the shelter and reveals his location, so the drone operator sees him as prey as well. In our next scene, 2 Russian friends take a trip to the Ukrainian lands and see what happens to them. After the first soldier is shot, the other one starts to run away. After following him for a long time, the drone operator finds a shelter where he is hiding, and boom! When do you think this war will end? You can write your thoughts in the comments. As we get back to tanks, I want to talk to you about the Starlink satellite and how it affects the course of the war. Starlink has been actively used in the Ukrainian army since 2022. We can even say that it has become the backbone of the army. The reason for this is that communication via satellite is very fast, secure, and untraceable. If your fiber cables are damaged in war, your communication will be ruined. But what can anyone do to a satellite in space? So what exactly do these do in the field? So what does uninterrupted communication mean to us? For example, you can communicate with your commander instantly and uninterruptedly. Drone images can be transferred instantly, which is very important. Coordinate sharing can be done and targets can be marked. Now let's continue explaining while you watch how an FPV drone patiently destroys a tank by shooting it tirelessly. Ukraine's biggest advantage in this regard is not actually having Starlink. It is the enemy's lack of Starlink. Thanks to this, they can gain great advantages. Russian forces do not have a communication network as strong as Ukraine. Of course, Russia tried very hard to eliminate this disadvantage and started using special jammer systems to cut satellite signals between 2023 and 2024, especially on the Zaporozhye and Donetsk lines. But Elon Musk and his team immediately made system updates and responded to these attacks in a way. It's very similar to the satellite war during the Cold War, isn't it? So how reliable is Elon Musk's help to Ukraine? Musk has occasionally limited access to Starlink. He also received a huge backlash for restricting access during drone attacks on the Crimea. This shows that although technology is a great asset for the course of war, its disadvantage is that it can change with one man's decision. So why do you think Elon Musk is helping Ukraine? If we come to a conclusion, this satellite system will not only be a satellite system, but also seems to be the arm of armies. Because the chaos that can be created by units consisting of thousands of soldiers who cannot communicate with each other cannot even be predicted. An army without communication is a blind and deaf army. In other words, technology has created a dependency on itself again. We cannot know what will happen in the future. While I was explaining this to you, our FPV drone has already torn the tank to pieces. Look, the tank is in flame. Next, there are two soldiers who were hit by a drone but continued to run because they used 100% of their adrenaline. They will probably be in a lot of pain when the adrenaline wears off. If you've watched this far, you've probably already subscribed and liked it, but we'd like to remind you that these are important for us to continue. Please write your ideas and comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.